In the introduction, we have come across the larynx. In the introductory part, we have told this is the where we are going to get as a upper inlet for the lower respiratory passage at the upper part of the trachea. Okay, so larynx, after completing the definition and all, we go for the remaining part, intrinsic muscles of the larynx. Just to revise you, that is larynx introduction. It is one of the part where the inlet of the lower respiratory passage. Then I have told it is an organ for the phonation. I have told word which is phonation. That is the how to maintain the production of the voice. In layman common term, we can call this larynx as that is we are going to call as a sound box. So that is you have to remember. And also I have told it is an inlet for the lower respiratory passage. So it is very important to know where exactly the situation of the larynx is there. So in this you have to know the situation and extent. The larynx lies in the anterior midline of the neck region and extending from the root of the tongue to the trachea. That is very important to know, root of the tongue to the trachea. It is extending, and it lies in front of at the level of the third, fourth, and fifth and sixth cervical vertebrae. That is we have studied. Then I have told what is the size of the larynx. Very small millimeters measuring organ in our body. That is the length of the larynx is 44 mm in males and 36 mm. Don't write in centimeter and inches. This is a millimeters, so that the size you have to remember. 44 mm in males and 36 mm in females. I have told both the larynx are same till the pubertal age. After the pubertal age, in the males, that is a growth of the larynx takes place. So that is there is a change in voice at the pubertal age in the male takes place. That is you have to remember. Next, constituents of the larynx. What it is made up of? So larynx is made up of the skeletal framework of the cartilages, and each cartilages are connected by the joints and ligaments and membranes. So almost all these cartilages are remaining in place because of there are many joints formed between the cricoid and thyroid cartilages. And also we have the connecting ligaments, and also we have the membrane, number of membrane covering, and also we have the number of muscles which are helps for the movement. So these all will be the constituents of the larynx. So larynx is made up of the skeletal framework of the cartilages. Cartilages are connected by I have told, joints, ligament, and membranes, and moved by whatever the movement takes place. Joints are there, ligaments are there, then possibility of movements is there. So this movement is by the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. And the interior of the larynx is lined by the mucous membrane. That is very important, you have to remember. Then going to the next part, that is the skeleton of the larynx. So when you go to the skeleton, I have told it is having the 9 cartilages. So 3 paired and 3 unpaired cartilages. Here you can see in this diagram, we are going to get the 3 unpaired cartilages are we are going to have the thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottic. So this is epiglottic, thyroid cartilage, and cricoid cartilage. Thyroid and cricoid you have to know, and epiglottis. This you know means you will understand the origin insertion of the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. And paired are the arytenoid cartilage, corniculate cartilage, and cuneiform cartilage. You have the three pairs we are going to have. Arytenoid cartilage, this is the arytenoid cartilage, and this is a corniculate, and this is a cuneiform cartilage. So these six three paired cartilages are situated at the posterior aspect of the larynx. Front anteriorly, we have the thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottic. So these are the skeleton or cartilages of the larynx. So after this, we have dealt almost all cartilages. Then we are going to deal with that is the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So I have told the 9 intrinsic muscles we are going to get. These 9 intrinsic muscles, those are cricothyroid, posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, transverse arytenoid, oblique arytenoid, eriepiglotticus, thyroarytenoid, focalis, thyroepiglotticus. So whatever these all 9 muscles, so I have told 44 mm, 36 millimeter, this much small organ, larynx, it is having the 9 muscles to move and produce the voice. So that it is very important, these all are called as the intrinsic muscles, and only one muscle, cricothyroid, which is lying outside. So that is a one muscle, intrinsic muscle of larynx, which lies outside extrinsically. That is a one muscle you have to know, cricothyroid. So cricothyroid, posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, transverse arytenoid, oblique arytenoid, eriepiglotticus, thyroarytenoid, focalis, and thyroepiglotticus. With all these 9 names you should know properly, because origin insertion of this is very important. So we are going to deal the first muscle, cricothyroid. So this is, I have told thee, this is the only intrinsic muscle lying on the external aspect of the larynx. External aspect outside, intrinsic muscle, but it is lying on the external aspect of the larynx. So it is named as that is a extrinsic muscle. Intrinsic muscle included, but it is lying outside, so named as a extrinsic muscle, which is we are going to get is in the out of 9, that is a cricothyroid. So what is the origin? I have told origin is lower border of the cricoid, that is lower border and lateral surface of the cricoid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage. This is the lower cornu, and this is the upper cornu of thyroid, and we have the thyroid cartilage. So here you should know the origin of the cricothyroid is from the, that is a inferior lower border and lateral surface of the cricoid cartilage, and these muscle fibers runs backwards and upwards and inserted into the inferior cornu and lower border of the thyroid cartilage. Very important, cricothyroid. Name itself gives you the origin name, that is insertion. First one, that is the inferior border, lateral surface of the cricoid cartilage. Fibers runs upwards, backwards, and inserted at the, that is the lower border and inferior cornu of the thyroid cartilage. So this is all about the first muscle you have to know, that is the cricothyroid muscle. Next, we are going to deal about the posterior cricoarytenoid. See here, posterior cricoarytenoid. This is the posterior aspect of the larynx wall, epiglottis. We have the posteriorly, we have the arytenoid cartilage, and this is a cricoid cartilage. So here you have to know the posterior cricoarytenoid. Name itself, it is lying posteriorly, and cricoarytenoid, cricoid cartilage to the arytenoid cartilage. So origin is from the posterior cricoarytenoid, originates from the posterior surface, that is we have the posterior surface, and this is we call as a lamina of the cricoid cartilage. Lamina of the cricoid cartilage, this posterior cricoarytenoid originates, And this is a one triangular, small triangular muscle that is, and these fibers runs upwards and laterally, going laterally. Both the side fibers runs upwards and laterally and inserted into the muscular process. I have told it has a apex and this is the base. Base here we have the muscular process. So we get the insertion of posterior cricoarytenoid is origin from the posterior surface of the lamina of the cricoid cartilage and inserted at the, we are going to get as a muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. So this is about the second muscle. Next we have the lateral cricoarytenoid. So whatever the lateral cricoarytenoid, you are going to get on the lateral side as we get the cricothyroid, posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid. So this lateral cricoarytenoid here, this is arises from the, that is the lateral part of the upper border of the arch of the cricoid cartilage. Here we have the arch of the cricoid cartilage and we have the upper border. So this is the upper border we are going to get, and we have the upper border of the arch of the cricoid cartilage. This is taking origin and insertion. This fibers runs upwards and backwards and inserted into the muscular process. Here we have come across, this is arytenoid cartilage and here muscular process, that is the insertion of the lateral cricoarytenoid. So you have to know the lateral cricoarytenoid, that is originating from the upper border of the arch of the cricoid cartilage and runs fibers upwards and backwards and inserted into the muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. So this is the third muscle we have studied. Next, fourth muscle we have to discuss is, that is the transverse arytenoid. Here you see the labeling of the transverse arytenoid. Here we have the backside transverse arytenoid. This is the only unpaired intrinsic muscle. Both, almost all 9 muscles, so except that is the transverse arytenoid, this is only one muscle, not in the pairs, two sides, right and left side. This is the only one muscle which is an unpaired intrinsic muscle of the larynx. These fibers, transverse arytenoid we are dealing, transverse arytenoid muscle. This is originates from the posterior surface of the one arytenoid cartilage and inserted at the opposite arytenoid cartilage. Very simple. You have to remember that is the almost all the these almost all the these muscles which are there, so they are almost all attached to the transverse arytenoid. This attached to the one arytenoid cartilage to the another arytenoid at the posterior surface. How to tell the origin insertion? It originates from the posterior surface of the one arytenoid and inserted at the opposite arytenoid cartilage. This is very important to know. That is the, you have to know about the transverse arytenoid. Next comes about the oblique arytenoid. These are a crossed muscle. You have to remember here the posterior aspect. These muscle fibers are crossed here, and because of that we are going to call it an oblique arytenoid muscle. So oblique arytenoid muscle originating from the, these are the slips of muscle that run obliquely. They are obliquely running and crossed each other at the midline. So that these slip arises from the, see here, muscular process of the one arytenoid cartilage and they are inserted into the apex of the opposite. So it is very important to know the origin from the, that is the, arises from the muscular process of the one arytenoid and these fibers goes and inserted at the opposite that is the apex of the opposite arytenoid cartilage. Very important to know. Name itself gives, oblique means crossing, running obliquely. Where it is arises, origin from the muscular process of the arytenoid and it is inserting at the apex of the opposite arytenoid. So this is very important to know about the total muscles. Then we are going to deal about the next muscle, that is a aryepiglotticus. So you have to remember here aryepiglotticus muscle is there. So where exactly? These are the muscle fibers which are formed by the already existing muscles. This is made up of the some fibers of the oblique arytenoid which are continued into the aryepiglottic fold. Here aryepiglottic fold, and to reach into the edge of the epiglottis. Here edge of the epiglottis they are reaching. So we are going to get the aryepiglotticus. Also you can see in the another diagram. Here you can see aryepiglotticus. This aryepiglotticus, this is a glottis, and so edge of the total aryepiglotticus that is there. So aryepiglotticus is formed, you have to tell about the these are the made up of some fibers of the oblique arytenoid muscle which are continues into the aryepiglottic fold and to reach into the edge of the, that is the epiglottic cartilage. So that is we are going to call as an aryepiglottic. Then we have the thyroarytenoid. Here you have the thyroarytenoid muscle. So this thyroarytenoid, here you have to remember about the thyroarytenoid. As it is name itself, it originates from the posterior surface of the aspect of the angle of the thyroid cartilage. This is a posterior, this is thyroid cartilage, posterior aspect of the angle of the thyroid cartilage and adjacent part of the cricothyroid ligament. And these fibers runs backwards and upwards, reach to the anterolateral surface, reach to the, we are going to get the anterolateral surface of the arytenoid cartilage. This is the posterior surface of the thyroid cartilage, runs fibers at the anterolateral surface of the arytenoid cartilage, and here it is taking insertion and attachment. This is about the thyroarytenoid. Then comes about the hocalis. This hocalis is made up of the some fibers of the thyroarytenoid. This thyroarytenoid muscle fibers, whatever these muscle fibers, thyroarytenoid, that gain attachment to the focal ligament. These fibers, thyroarytenoid, muscle fibers or muscles, some few muscle fibers, they are attached to the focal ligaments. And we have the vocal cords, focal ligaments, and these muscle fibers, thyroarytenoid, attaching to the vocal cord, and those muscle fibers we name as a focalis. So that vocal cord attachment, that is we call as a focalis. That is the eighth muscle. Then we have the ninth muscle, thyro. We have the epiglotticus. We have the last muscle, that is the thyroepiglotticus. Some of the upper fibers of the thyroarytenoid. This is thyroid and arytenoid. So this is the sum of the upper fibers of the thyroarytenoid curve upwards. This curve upwards into the aryepiglottic fold to reach the edge of the epiglottis. Here, edge of the epiglottis. Here I have told already uh, that is thyroarytenoid and all. So here you have to tell the thyroepiglotticus, thyroid cartilage to the epiglottis. So some fibers of the thyroarytenoid curve upwards and into the aryepiglottic fold and to reach the edge of the epiglottis. And these constitute the thyroepiglotticus. So you have to remember almost all these all muscles we have come across, all 9 muscles I have told, origin, insertion of the total 9 muscles. So I have already explained the origin, insertion of the 9 muscle. So thyroarytenoid, thyroid cartilage to the arytenoid, posterior cricoarytenoid, cricoid cartilage to the arytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, lateral side cricoid to the arytenoid, transverse arytenoid, This which is attached to the posterior surface of the one arytenoid to the opposite arytenoid. Oblique arytenoid crossed each other slips arising from the muscular process of the arytenoid to the apex opposite arytenoid. Aryepiglotticus, these are the muscle fibers which are arising and attached. Thyroepiglotticus, arising and attached to the epiglottic fold, and thyroarytenoid, that is arytenoid cartilage to the thyroid superolateral surface. There is attachment to the arytenoid and posterior surface of the thyroid cartilage. Focalis, fibers, muscle fibers attached to the, that is the thyroarytenoid muscle fibers. They attach to the focal ligament focalis. Thyroepiglotticus, these are the upper fibers of the thyroarytenoid which are attached to the edge of the aryepiglottic fold and reaching to the edge of the epiglottis, and that is we call as a thyroepiglotticus. So with this, I have completed the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So almost all you have to remember in the 10 marks question, this diagram you have to practice. This indicates the skeleton or that is the skeleton, and that is the cartilages of the totally cartilages of the larynx. So you have to know about the almost all this one, and most important thing is this is only you have to remember about diagram, cartilages diagram and muscles diagram. So next is you have to remember about the actions of these muscles. When I have told the actions are, you have to remember about the all these muscles which are there. They are the acting as a opening and closing of the glottis, closing of the glottis, opening of the glottis, then relaxing of the vocal cords and closing of the inlet of the larynx, and those are we call as an actions of these intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So briefly you have to remember the few important muscles which are main actions of these muscle which open the glottis. You should know the glottis when it is open, that is done by the posterior cricoarytenoid. Then comes about second, closing the glottis, closes the glottis. Those muscles are the lateral cricoarytenoid, transverse arytenoid, cricothyroid, and thyroarytenoid. Then comes about the action. Next action is muscle which tense the vocal cord. Tense the vocal cord is cricothyroid. Then muscle which relax the vocal cord is thyroarytenoid and focalis. Then comes next action is muscle which close the inlet of the larynx, oblique arytenoid, aryepiglotticus. Next action is muscles which open the inlet of the larynx, that is the thyroepiglotticus. So you have to remember this is all about the actions of the intrinsic muscle of larynx. So maybe some 2 marks question can be asked as a, what are the muscle of the larynx causing the closure of the glottis? Then you have to remember lateral cricoarytenoid, transverse arytenoid. Muscle which opens the glottis, posterior cricoarytenoid can be asked. Muscle which tense the vocal cord, cricothyroid muscle. Muscle which relax the vocal cord, thyroarytenoid and focalis. Muscle which close the inlet of the larynx, oblique arytenoid, aryepiglotticus. This all you have to know. Muscle which opens the inlet of the larynx, thyroepiglotticus. This is very important about the actions of the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. I have told in the last time I have covered the blood supply, superior laryngeal artery, inferior laryngeal artery, superior laryngeal vein, inferior laryngeal vein, venous drainage, lymphatic drainage is by the deep cervical group of lymph nodes and pre-laryngeal group of lymph nodes. That I have dealt, that is in the last lecture. So that you have to read. What is the nerve supply of this? I have also covered this, but just to remind you, what are in these intrinsic muscles are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, except the cricothyroid, which is supplied by the external laryngeal nerve. So it is very important to know that is the almost all the intrinsic muscle, these all 9 muscles totally, they are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, except Means eight muscles are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, except cricothyroid, which is supplied by the external laryngeal. Why it is so? It is lying outside of the larynx, almost all the interior. So that you have to know about the total nerve supply, recurrent laryngeal nerve and external laryngeal nerve. Only you have to remember cricothyroid is supplied by the external laryngeal nerve. So I have covered the blood supply. You have to remember superior laryngeal artery is a branch of superior thyroid artery, inferior laryngeal artery is a branch of inferior thyroid artery. That you have to know. Then after this venous drainage, same veins draining, superior, inferior laryngeal veins. Then lymphatic, I have told deep cervical group of lymph nodes, anterior superior group of lymph nodes, and we have the pre-laryngeal group of the lymph nodes. Then going to the just to cover, last time I have covered this, what is the applied anatomy of the larynx. Just to few minutes remains, so that is I am covering. When any first applied anatomy you have to remember is when any foreign object enters into the larynx, it produces severe cough, and which is excited and expel the object. Means what? When hurriedly we eat, food enters by chance with the enters into the larynx and trachea, it causes the severe cough. So that is the one you have to remember. Any foreign object enters into the larynx, it tries to expel it out by producing the cough. When there is, however, damage to the internal laryngeal nerve, it produces the anesthesia of the mucous membrane of the supraglottic part of the larynx. Above the part which is glottis area, that loses its sensation. So that is a damage to the internal laryngeal nerve, causing the production of the anesthesia. Then damage to the external laryngeal nerve, it causes the weakness of the phonation. Voice is not produced, voice becomes very weak, that you have to remember. When there is a both recurrent laryngeal nerves are interrupted, vocal cord lies in the cadaveric position. And this cadaveric position, it remains, means there is no chance of production of any phonation. Completely loss of even we have the cadaveric position and phonation is completely lost, and maybe breathing also become difficult when there is both the recurrent laryngeal nerve damages. Then comes about the larynx can be examined by the laryngoscope, and procedure is called a laryngoscopy. Instrument we use, that is the laryngoscope, and procedure we call as a laryngoscopy. So that is you have to remember. When next comes about when this larynx is a narrowest part and the respiratory passage, any foreign object which are there before entering into the that is the trachea, it is obstructed in the narrowest part of the respiratory lower respiratory passage, that is the larynx. So that is producing the cough, that you have to know about. Then next comes about the inflammation of the larynx called as a laryngitis, and which is characterized by the hoarseness of voice. I have told this the Gasabas name. That is all due to there is a laryngitis, inflammation of the larynx. Then laryngeal edema. This is the one which is you have to know about the laryngeal edema. It is occurs commonly in the drug reaction, anaphylaxis, when there is a reaction to the drug, medicine. Suddenly there is an occurring of the laryngeal edema is a complication, and that causing the disturb or blocks the stoppage of the respiration, causing the breathing difficulty, and may cause the severe that is the edema can blocks the airway, and patient may die. So this is a very important laryngeal edema you should know. Due to the variety of causes it is occurs, but obstruction to the breathing occurs due to the edema, swelling of the larynx, causing the breathing difficulty. And one I have told the drug sensitivity, or we can call as a, that is when there is an anaphylaxis, when drug is administered, and which is severe reaction is occurs, and that leads into causing the difficulty in breathing, because that is the edema of the larynx. So this is all about the total. We have covered the larynx. Very important, 10 marks it is asked, and that you have to remember 10 marks question. You have to practice almost all. This is for the right for the 10 marks diagrams. You have to practice cartilages diagram. Then you have to practice for the muscle diagram, intrinsic muscles 9. You have to that is you have to remember. So that here I am closing the totally the larynx. So no time is left. So mostly we are going to complete this, conclude with this. You should able to write for the 10 minutes. That is 10 marks you have to write, and that is a very important part you have to dealt about the larynx. So any questions you want to ask, discuss, because it is anytime it may be the stopped. So I hope that is you have understood. Uh, uh, Vedika?
Yes,
Vedika,
sir.
are you understood
Yes.
clearly?
Yes,
No
sir.
disturbance, nothing, na?
Nothing.
Are you seen properly screen and diagram? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So